Greetings and salutations, YouTubers. This is ZillaFan85, back today doing my latest video. Of course, another figure review as usual. Well, you know, I'll do some other stuff as well. But anyway, though, for this figure review today, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my Gashapon SpaceGodzilla figure. Oh yeah, so obviously now SpaceGodzilla, a kaiju that I have not previously covered amongst any of my figure reviews in the past up till this point. So definitely, you know, be a little new today here. You know, I only have the Gashapon SpaceGodzilla, and I also have the Bandai standard size SpaceGodzilla, which is obviously in the 6-inch range. That one I'll cover at a later date. The way I've been trying to do it lately is I've been trying to make sure that I cover the Gashapon versions of the figures first if I have them, and then cover the standard size figures of these kaiju at a later date. That's what I'm trying to do now. Anyway, I wasn't doing that before, and I decided to kind of make that a thing. So that's basically pretty much the plan here. Anyway, so like I said, SpaceGodzilla kaiju that I haven't gotten to yet. Obviously, I will review the Bandai version at a later date. You know, take what you will from that figure. You know, I'm going to say right now I'm not super crazy about it. But, you know, at least it's a standard size SpaceGodzilla figure, because I'm certainly not going to fork over the money for, you know, SH Figure Arts or anything way too much. So I'll just stick with the Bandai one. I do like SpaceGodzilla. He's a pretty cool kaiju. Certainly in concept and design. Unfortunately, his film, at least in my opinion, Godzilla vs. SpaceGodzilla was my personal least favorite movie from the Heisei era. You know, it was released in 1994. So again, obviously the one and only film appearance for SpaceGodzilla. So what obviously the figure is based on. So like I said, it's my least favorite of the Heisei era. That's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of other people kind of tend to agree with that. You know, but some people really like Godzilla vs. SpaceGodzilla, so, you know, it just depends. I do like SpaceGodzilla as a kaiju, though. I think it's pretty cool. Basically, his origins, well, they have sort of two premises, I guess you would say, theories in the film itself, when they theorize that either SpaceGodzilla was formed because it was a crystalline object formed from Godzilla's, you know, that merged with Godzilla cells in, you know, deep in outer space, which either happened during the battle of, you know, from Godzilla versus Biollante, when Biollante, you know, basically essentially it ascended into the sky at the end of the movie after her battle with Godzilla, you know, where she turned into the particles and just ascended into the air and flew off into space, which to me seems the more viable candidate, honestly, because the secondary theory is Godzilla cells that were attached to Mothra during the film Godzilla vs. Mothra, the Battle for Earth. You know, after Godzilla was defeated, and Mothra and the fairies, or the cosmos as they were known as in that movie, flew off into outer space to try to stop that meteor that was destined to crash, you know, into the Earth. So I mean, that certainly would be plausible as well, but just to me, because of SpaceGodzilla's design, especially like when you see like the tusks and stuff like that on the side of his face, it just seems much more reminiscent of Biollante. So I happen to think he's more based on that incarnation. I mean, it could be both. Maybe the cells all ended up in the same place somehow. So, but that's basically his backstory. And of course, he came to Earth to conquer, you know, destroy Godzilla and conquer the planet in the movie. And Godzilla and Mogera, you know, the mecha at that point, that 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 G-force had created after Mechagodzilla was destroyed in the previous film. We're essentially having to join forces, and Godzilla in more of an anti-hero role in this movie. And then of course little Godzilla, who had grown since his previous incarnation as baby Godzilla, again from Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2. So I do like the recurring, storylines that take place from the Heisei era. Definitely very cool. So but I just didn't think that the execution of the movie was done all that well, honestly, and the fights were I realized that because of Space Godzilla's sort of body structure, that it would have been difficult to do a lot of melee combat. So not a lot of physical fighting. It was more based on beam fighting in the film, but it just sort of took away from it for me. I don't know. Like I said, just for me personally, I'm not super into it. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the figure review because I am taking up quite a bit of time here. So we start with the paint job. I think this is a pretty nice Gashapon figure. You could see here Space Godzilla, that signature color that he's got, where it's sort of the charcoalish color on his skin, just like Godzilla has. Very, very nicely done here. I think this is a good Gashapon figure. In some ways, I kind of like it better than the standard size Bandai counterpart that you've got for it. Very, very cool looking. You've got this translucent clear color for that crystal on the end of his, the tip of his tail there, as well as on the dorsal spines going down his back into his tail. You can see very, very cool looking, that translucent color. You've got sort of a grayish color for the for the two protruding crystals from his shoulder crystals there, as you can see. A bit of a weird color choice on that, but not too bad nonetheless. I don't think so. And of course you got that sort of reddish orangish color on from his neck and his chest and abdomen area down to his waist, as you can see, which is pretty indicative of Space Godzilla's design there. That looks pretty cool, and it kind of trickles into the shoulder crystals here, meshing in with the charcoalish color, so that's not a bad look there. It looks pretty cool. And you've got sort of this yellowish translucent color for the for that crystal crown on the top of his head, and that looks pretty cool. I like that. You got these sort of yellowish, dirty bone colors for the tusks on the sides of his mouth there. Again, like I said, those tusks very much remind me of Biolante's design, as well as just the shape of Space Godzilla's head. Honestly, that's why I'm more inclined to believe the Biolante theory. But anyways, that sort of yellowish, dirty bone color is also apparent with the finger claws and the toe claws, as you guys can see there. The teeth, similar, but they're more of an off-white color, I think, for the teeth, as they sort of did. And so it's a bit surprising they actually use a bit of a different paint scheme for the teeth as opposed to the claws and tusks. Usually all that's the same, but not too bad though. And then of course you got the white eyes and the black pupils here, as you can see. Sort of making sure my camera can focus. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to kind of tune it in, so I'm trying to see. Yeah, there we go. Kind of works on its own there. But I think it looks pretty good. So I definitely like it. I think it's a very nice job with the paint here on it. So pretty much you got Space Godzilla's look down pretty well, and we'll go use that to segue into the detail work, which again I think is very nice on the figure. Again, you've got the dorsal spines going down his back. The bigger ones on the middle row of his back probably should be larger than they are. But it doesn't look too bad though. I really like it. And I love that translucent color that they did with that clear translucent. I think it looks really good. I think they should have done something, well, maybe not exactly the clear, but I think they should have done something at least somewhat translucent with the crystals on his shoulders. But not too bad though. But they got but obviously they got those crystal shoulders there again to capture that look with, again, the scales, as you can see, that really are vibrant on those shoulders there. Really show that scaliness that SpaceGodzilla has. You can see there, kind of, I guess you can see kind of some paint wearing into the shoulders as well, which is hit or miss, I guess. Not the greatest thing, but not too bad nonetheless. Though again, you got that crown, that crystal crown on the top of his head. They captured that look pretty well, I think. I really like that, and again, I like that translucent yellow there. Again, you got the tusks on the side of his mouth, as well as the teeth sculpted in there. So they got that look pretty good. Again, you can see with the eyes, and you got the sort of rivets that he's got that mesh in with the crystals there on the top of the head. So it's pretty nice detail work, I think, they did on this Gashapon figure. Very nice on the scaling on the neck and the chest. I think that looks really good, that patterning there. I'm trying to think, yeah, it's pretty well movie accurate. I don't know that the paint scheme is exactly movie accurate, but certainly the detail work, I think, is. I think they really, really captured SpaceGodzilla's look there with all the scaliness and everything, plus all those crystal features in there, including all the translucent that they did. So that looks really, really nice there. Again, so you've got the detail work done for the claws, the finger claws and the toe claws there. So looks pretty well. He's got kind of these short arms, which is pretty much how SpaceGodzilla was. His arms were kind of like this, So, and he didn't really do too much with them. Anytime I did see him doing any sort of melee with Godzilla, it was sort of just bumping into Godzilla like that, like ramming him. So they didn't really do too much as far as hand-to-hand fisticuffs go. But, but for what the movie entailed, though, I think they captured the look very well here. You can see those kneecaps that he's got there with the scaling on the legs. That goes all the way down the body, that scaling that he's got. And the legs look really good, and they're very bulky like they were in the film. Definitely capturing that look. And, of course, it's got that the tail again. Again, you got the crystal spines going down the tail, and that crystal on the tip of the tail there, which looks very, very good. I really like that. Again, especially with that translucent. That's one of my favorite parts of the figure, or all the translucent spines that they did, and the crystal on the top of his head. I think all that's really awesome. So all that looks really good. You got the segments on the tail as well, and on the underside. Very, very signature, very Godzilla-like, of course, because he is, again, a Godzilla, spawn, essentially. So, very, very, very awesome looking. I think, so I think paint jobs kind of hit or miss. It's decent in some points, especially, like I said, with the translucent stuff. Detail work, though, I think is where this figure really, really shines. So I think it really looks good there. Articulation really isn't any. It's a Gashapon figure. You can sort of, if you want to swivel the waist, I guess. But again, really don't think it's really meant for it, though, because it just kind of pops into place, as you can see there. Same thing, so the arms, yeah, I mean, if you want to swivel them, but again, they're not really meant for it. So Gashapon figures don't really worry too much about articulation. They're really just meant for display. Minifigures, of course. So this one only probably around 3 inches tall, I would say. But for what you're going to pay, because he's pretty affordable. Definitely think he's worth it. You can find him. I got this one on eBay, as I did with most of my figures. Should be, if I'm remembering correctly, I would say should probably be $20 or less. which is pretty standard for your Bandai, your Bandai Gash, because they are still made by Bandai. These Gashapon figures, high grade figures, should be under $20, like I said. So, so definitely very affordable. If you just, if you don't either. You have the standard size figure either in the Bandai or the SH Monster Arts or whatever. I think X Plus has a gigantic Series 1, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. But either way, though, if you just want to have a Space Godzilla figure in your collection, you don't mind it being a minifigure, or you just want to add the Gashapon to your collection, I definitely recommend it. I think it looks really cool. Definitely displays well on a shelf. So I think that should about cover it. I didn't really intend this video to go on this long. I apologize. But I do want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, please feel free to do so. If you would like to like and or comment on any of my videos, please feel free to do so as well. And just remember, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you be good to yourselves, and sayonara.